Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Physics. So in this video we'll be dealing with laws of motion DPP, and as you can see over here, this is the first question. Newton's first law is applicable. So see here, we have defined in the Newton's first law or in the laws of motion that inertial frame and non-inertial frame. Inertial frame is the one in which Newton's laws are valid, and a non-inertial frame is the one in which the Newton's laws are not valid. So you can write over here, inertial frame is the one in which Newton's laws are valid. So, and non-inertial frame is the one in which Newton's laws are not valid. So you can write non-inertial frame is the one in which Newton's laws are not valid. Okay now, so you can write in all reference frames, no possible. Only in inertial frame, yes, possible. Only in non-inertial frame, not possible. None of this not possible. So it is the second option is the correct option over here. Now the next question, from Newton's second law of motion, it can be inferred that, see, what is Newton's first law? We have force F bar is equal to mass times the acceleration, that is rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the external unbalanced force, right? F bar is equal to mass into acceleration and is constant. Generally we consider that. If no force is acting on the body will move with a constant velocity, right? The body uniformly moves along the straight line. Yes, that is correct. If external force is 0, we can say acceleration will be 0, indicates velocity remains constant. The velocity remains constant, or else the velocity will be 0 meter per seconds, right? Now, so these two cases are possible. So no force is required to move body uniformly along a straight line, correct. Accelerated motion is always due to external force, correct. Inertial mass of a body is equal to force required per unit acceleration. Inertial mass, this is called as the inertial mass. So inertial mass of a body is force required per unit acceleration. So all of this is the correct option for the second question. So I hope this is clear. Now the third question, a body of mass 2 kg is sliding with constant velocity 4 meter per second on a frictionless horizontal table. The force required to keep the body moving with the same velocity is, okay. So we have a body of mass 2 kg which is sliding with constant velocity, that is 4 meter per second, and it is on the what is called as the frictionless horizontal table. So what is the force required for this? So as there is no friction, that means, and velocity is equal to constant, that means force required is equal to 0 Newton, है ना? So if body at rest remain at rest, body in motion remain in motion unless and until external unbalanced force acts on the body. So this body is in motion, so it will always remains in motion. So what is the external force required? 0 Newton is the external force required. Next question, fourth question it is, a 10-gram bullet moving at 200 meter per second stops after penetrating 5 centimeter of wooden plank. The average force exerted on the bullet will be. So we want average force. So average force, we know that it is mass times change in velocity divided by the time, right? Change in velocity divided by time, or else mass times v squared minus u squared divided by 2s. So you can write mass as 10 grams. So 10 into 10 to the power minus 3. Final velocity is 0 squared minus initial velocity is 200 squared divided by 2 into s we have is 5 centimeters. So 5 into 10 power minus 2. Now if you just solve this, you will get, this is 10 to the power minus 2 and into, this is minus 200 into 200 divided by 10 into 10 to the power minus 2. So this get cancelled, this 0 get cancelled, and as you can see over here, 20 into 200 we have is 4000, with negative sign Newton. So negative 4000 Newton is the answer. So the average force exerted on the bullet will be negative 400 Newton. So I hope this is clear. So these two formulas are very important. One, mass times acceleration is v minus u by 2 t, and m into v squared minus u squared divided by 2s. So why these formulas are used? Because we know that v is equal to u plus at, s is equal to ut plus half at squared, v squared is equal to u squared plus 2as, and lastly snth is equal to u plus a by 2 to n minus 1. So all these formulas are really very important. Always remember. Chalo, the next question. A ball of mass 50 gram is dropped from a height of 20 meter. A boy on the ground hits the ball vertically upward with a bat with an average force 200 Newton so that it attains a vertical height of 45 meter. The time for which the ball remains in contact with the bat is, okay, it is given one ball is dropped from a height of 20 meter and it is thrown right upward with some velocity u so that it will attain a height of 45 meter. The time for which the ball remains in contact with the bat is, okay. So firstly we'll calculate what is the velocity in the downward direction, initial velocity in the downward direction, then the final velocity in the upward direction. So how to find initial velocity in the downward direction? So initial velocity in downward direction is root of 2 into g into h, which is equal to root of 2 into 10 into h we have is 20. So which is 20 meter per second is the initial velocity in the downward direction. What is the final velocity? Here also root of 2gh is equal to root of 2 into g squared into 45, and that is 30 meter per second. So this velocity we have is 30 meter per second. This velocity we have is 20 meter per second, and we want what is called as the time, right? So average force is equal to, we know that mass times acceleration. Acceleration is final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. So if you just calculate time from this, you will get mass m v minus u divided by the force F. What is the mass given? What is the mass given? Mass over here is 50 gram. So 50 into 10 to the power minus 3. Final velocity we have is 30 minus initial velocity is minus 20 divided by average force acts on this ball is 200, and time if you calculate you will get this is 10 to the power minus 3 into 50 divided by 4, and that is equal to 4 ones are 4 twos are 4 12.5 into 10 to the power minus 3, and 12.5 into 10 power minus 3, or else you can write this as in terms of fraction, right, like 12.5 divided by 1000, so which is equal to 125 divided by 100 into 100, so which is equal to 25 5s are 25 4s are 5 2s are, so you will get 1/80th of a second, right? 1/80th of a second it will remain in contact. So that is the option 3. So I hope this is clear. Likewise you have to solve the questions. Okay, na? So the next question we have, 6th question. A string tied on a roof can bear a maximum tension of 50 kg weight. Maximum tension of 50 kg weight indicates maximum tension it can bear is 50 into 9.8 Newton. Okay, now, okay. The minimum acceleration that can be acquired by a man of 98 kg to descend will be. Okay, so what is the minimum acceleration that man can have? Right, this man can have. What is the minimum acceleration this man can have so that this string will not break? So this is mg we have. This is what is called as the tension. Maximum tension is 50 into 9.8, and this is mg. Sure, let's start. So mg minus 50 into 9.8. Why? Because acceleration we want. So acceleration in the downward direction. 50. Sorry, why 50? It is mg. That is mg is 98 into 9.8. minus 50 into 9.8 must be equal to 98 into the acceleration. Now if you take the acceleration A as 9.8 into 98 minus 50 divided by 98, so this is 9.8 tens are, so you will get this is I think 48 divided by 10, and that is 4.8 meter per second squared. So I hope this is clear. So answer for this question is option 3. So likewise you have to do, always remember one thing, and that is it is given the maximum tension it can bear is 50 into 9.8. so if this person goes upward, the tension in the string will always be greater than its weight, so this person has to go down, this person has to descend, so that the tension in the string will be lesser than its own weight. Its weight is 980 Newton and it can bear up to 9.8 into 50. So I hope this is clear. Now the next one, when a 4 kg rifle is fired, 10 gram bullet receives the acceleration given. The magnitude of force acting on the rifle is, okay. So this is the rifle you can consider, right? So when the 4 kg rifle is there and bullet is fired from it, and 10 gram bullet, it receives the acceleration of 3 into 10 to the power 6 centimeter per second square. So whatever force exerted on it, exactly the same force will exert on it. Why? According to Newton's third law. According to Newton's third law. According to Newton's third law, the force on a gun due to bullet must be equal to the negative of force on bullet due to gun. So this is the Newton's third law. Every action has equal and opposite reaction, we can say. Every action has equal and opposite reaction, we can say, right now. So over here, whatever the force is there, they say that will be the same, and that force will be 3 into 10 to the power 6 into 10 to the power minus 2 is the acceleration into mass is 10 into 10 to the power minus 3. So this is 10 to the power minus 5, so it will become 10 only. So 3 into 100, which is 300 Newton is the answer. So I hope this is clear. So this is the 7th question. Now 8th question we have. A block of mass m is released on a smooth inclined plane of inclination theta with the horizontal. The force exerted by plane on the block has a magnitude. So this is the inclined plane given angle theta. So we have, this is the block of mass m. So this is the angle theta. The force exerted by plane on the block has a magnitude. Okay, so this component we have is mg's component mg sin theta, and this component we have is mg cos theta, and we are least interested in this. We are interested in due to the plane. So normal, that is what is exerted on the plane. So that normal we have is mg cos theta. So what is the answer? The force exerted by plane on the block is n, and that n is mg cos theta. So you can write force exerted by the plane on the block is mg cos theta, and that is normal, we can say. So that mg cos theta is fourth option. 9th one, a weight mg is suspended from the middle of a rope whose ends are at the same level. The rope is no longer horizontal. The minimum tension required to completely straighten the rope is, okay. So we have mg which is exactly at the midway supposed to be to this, right? This is mg supposed to be, and due to the tension it get balanced. So we have this tension T, this tension T, this angle theta, this angle theta. So tensions, one component that is T cos theta is balanced, cancel out, we can say this T cos theta and this T cos theta will cancel out each other, and it is the T sin theta balances each other. We can say balances mg. So 2t sine theta must be equal to mg. So what is the tension in the rope? It is 2 sine theta we have. Now minimum tension required. Okay, to strengthen it indicates this theta will become with respect to horizontal. To strengthen it indicates with respect to horizontal theta will become 0. For theta is equal to 0 degree, tension we have is equal to mg divided by 2 into 0. Anything divided by 0 is infinite. So we can say infinitely large tension required. Okay. So this is the 9th question. Now 10th question, tension in the rope at the rigid support we want. Okay. So due to this person we will calculate tension over here. Due to this person we'll calculate tension over here, and due to this person we'll calculate tension over here. Chalo, we'll calculate now. So due to first one we have, this is the person which is moving downward with acceleration 1 meter per second squared, and tension we want T1 supposed to be. It is the mg which is acting on it, that is 400 we can say. So it is 400 minus T1 must be equal to mass is 40 into 1. So T1 we have is 360 Newton. So this is T1 we have. Okay, no problem. Now we'll calculate T2. So this is the person we have. For it, T1 is 360 Newton, mg is 500 Newton, and it is moving downward only with 2 meter per second squared. Let's calculate tension T2. So it will be T2, it will be 860 minus T2 must be equal to 50 into 2, that is 100. So T2 we have is 760 Newton. So this is T2 we have, that is 760 Newton. Now we'll calculate T3. So this is the rope we have, and this is the tension we have T3. This is the what is called as 50, this is 60. Okay, so this is 600, and we have tension T2, and that is 760 Newton. So this is T3 is 600, 760, and it is moving, this person is moving upward with some acceleration, and that acceleration is 2 meter per second squared. So we'll calculate now. T3 minus, it is 1360 is equal to mass into acceleration. What is the mass over here? 60, no. Mass is 60 and acceleration is 2. So we have T3 is equal to 1360 plus 120, so which is 0841. So 1480 Newton is the tension at the rigid support. 1480. Okay, so I think we did mistake somewhere. 760. This is 100. So this is 860. Let us check fast. This is 40. 360. Okay. This is 360. Okay. This is 860. And this is 50 into 2, correct? Now 50 into 2, that is 100. So it is 760, no problem, 760. Okay, so this is 760, 600. How much? 1360. No, 1360. Okay, no problem in this also. And this is T3 minus 1360 must be equal to 120. So T3 is equal to 1360 plus 120. How much it is? 1480. I think it is correct only. So I think so. Whatever we calculated is correct. So here it must be 1480 Newton. Then answer 3 is the correct answer. So I hope this is clear to you all. Now if anyone has any doubt, they can always comment in the comment box. I'll try to reply to your comment as soon as possible. Thank you so much.